Councilman Ahern.
Thank you. Good evening. It's January 22nd, 2019. At this time, I'd like to call to order the Perry Carnegie Library Board meeting. Dixie, can you call the roll, please?
Colburn.
Here.
Gilbert. Here. Franklin.
Here.
Hicks.
Here.
Ahern.
Here.
Seabelt. Here. Morrell.
Here.
Stroller.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
I declare a quorum for sure. I will provide the invocation, so if you guys would just pray with me. Father, we come to you tonight with great gratitude and humble hearts. In advance of our meeting, I would ask that you remove any stress or closed-mindedness that any of us might bring to the meeting. Instead, give us open, positive, and forward-thinking thoughts. Most importantly, when we disagree with one another tonight, let us respect and appreciate those differences. We love you and thank you in advance for blessing our time together tonight. Amen.
Amen.
The first item on the agenda is the consent agenda. There are items A through E. We can approve all of those at one time, or if any need to be removed, just let us know.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please, Dixie.
Colburn.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
Seabelt.
Yes.
Morrell.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
We will move down to item 4. Are any comments from those assembled here today? Any comments? We'll go to item 5, the presentation of the oral quarterly report on library usage and statistics on Perry Carnegie Library by Pam Reek, head librarian. Pam?
Hi.
Good evening.
So the library received a $14,000 anonymous grant from the Children's Department. This is the same funding source that allowed us to get new flooring downstairs a few years ago. A big thanks to our anonymous donor. I had written that grant a year and a half ago and hadn't heard a thing, so I was so happy when that check came in the mail. The library received almost $7,000 in state aid from the Oklahoma Department of Libraries. The library had to meet criteria, including a maintenance effort on behalf of the city of Perry, and the library has to follow certain guidelines. We should get an additional small amount before July. We are planning summer reading program. The state provides a resource manual, and 2 library employees, including me, attended a workshop in Cleveland in December. So come to the library and get scratch and sniff bookmarks when you check out a book. We have flavors for all ages and sniffers. We would like to thank the Progress Club and all its members for supporting the library so faithfully for over 100 years. Progress Club is organizing their historical items, and the rich history of the club shines through. We would also like to thank the individuals and businesses who have made donations to the Progress Club. The Progress Club just paid for a new firewall for the library. This is a savings to the city of over $1,300. As a result, there will probably be an increase in bandwidth for the next fiscal year.
Thank you, Pam. Are there any questions of Pam? Hey, Pam, thanks so much for what you do for your staff and all the volunteers there. We'll move on to item 6. Is there any new business for tonight's meeting? And we'll move on to item 7. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
There's a second. Mr. Jim. Roll call, please.
Colburn.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
Seabelt.
Yes.
Morrell.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Now I call to order the regular meeting of the Perry Municipal Authority. It is January 22nd, 2019. Item 1, Dixie, call the roll.
Colburn.
Here.
Gilbert.
Here.
Franklin.
Here.
Hicks.
Here.
Ahern.
Here.
Seabelt.
Here.
Morrell.
Here.
Stroller.
Here.
Johnson.
Here, I do declare a quorum. Item 1, consent agenda.
Motion approved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, Dixie.
Colburn.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
Seabelt.
Yes.
Morrell.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Item 4, comments from those assembled concerning the
FEMA.
this evening? Any comments? Seeing none, item 5, proclamations, commendations, reports, and inquiries by the governing body. Anyone? Seeing none, item 7.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Colern.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Iker.
Yes.
Sebo.
Yes.
Morrell.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Now call to order the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Perry. It is January 22nd, 2019. Roll call, please.
Colern.
Here.
Gilbert. Here. Franklin.
Here.
Hicks.
Here.
Iker.
Here.
Sebo.
Here.
Morrell.
Here.
Stroller.
Here.
Johnson.
Here. I do declare a quorum. We'll take up item 1, consent agenda. There are 4 parts, A through D. Any comments or questions concerning any of those, or give me a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Second.
Excuse me, roll call, Dixie.
Colern.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Iker.
Yes.
Sebo.
Yes.
Morrell.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. We've moved down to item 4, comments from those assembled. Any comments about the council meeting this evening? Comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 5, proclamation of commendation reports and inquiries for the governing body. Council, staff? Seeing none, we'll move on to the city manager's report, item 6.
Thank you, Mayor. Chief Ray, would you walk up to the podium here? I'm going to ask you to make some comments on your 2 training sessions you've got. And in just a minute, if you don't mind. First, I want to tell you about the 4th annual trout fishing tournament coming up this Saturday. Cost is $20 pre-registration, $25 the day of registration, $15 for children, 15 and younger. State fishing license is required for all the participants 16 years and older, including those who are assisting a younger participant. Registration will be from 6:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Fishing is allowed from 6:30 to 11. Weigh-in and awards happen at 11:30 a.m. That's this Saturday. Chief, you have 2 training sessions. One is going on now, and the other's coming up shortly.
On,
Just give us a brief synopsis of those.
Sure. On February 4th, we're going to have a Officer 1 training. It's a training that we've partnered with OSU Fire Service Training. And they'll, basically the class opens up to 25 people throughout the state of Oklahoma. We're hoping to have those numbers pretty high. We've got 3 of our own personnel that are going to be attending that class. And so that class, that's only a 40-hour class, so it starts on the 4th of February. Captain Stephen Duke has been working very hard at bringing in some classes from outside of this area and bringing people into our community to attend these classes rather than us sending our personnel out. So it's been a huge benefit for us. We currently have our emergency medical technician class that is ongoing this evening as well. It's a 216-hour class. These guys aren't getting paid a dime to dedicate their lives to this training. It's every Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then we're going to meet one Saturday a month for 8 hours. If you can imagine sitting and listening to me talk for 8 hours, we're trying to figure out which Saturday that's going to be. But anyhow, so again, that class is scheduled to conclude on June 6th, and that'll add 6 additional EMT personnel to our volunteer call fire side. So.
And Meridian Tech is helping us with this.
Yes, so the funding for this class, we had sent in a request for an amendment through the tobacco tax grant that we received, that long USHRF grant. I had requested an amendment to allow us to have this EMT class. We were granted that amendment, and we partnered with Meridian Technology. So they basically facilitated the whole class. They have been incredible to work with. Rena Hines and Rena's really the one that's been working really hard for us. So she brings a lot of the equipment over, all the paperwork and documentation needed to complete the class and certify everyone. So essentially, we just have to show up as instructors and make sure the information is given, and they're able to have the competency to pass the National Registry exam to become licensed EMTs. State of Oklahoma. So
Very good.
very excited.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate your leadership.
Thank you.
Really do. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Any questions?
Thank you, Mayor. Chief Financial Officer will now give his report.
Well, guys, we are halfway through the year. That doesn't quite seem possible, which means that budgets are right around the corner, and we're going to be starting that process. Actually, we do a little bit of stuff at the end of this month to get ready for it, but then really in March we'll kick off full swing in getting stuff ready for fiscal year 20. If that even sounds possible to be discussing, I know it's a little bit out there, but. Just kind of some updates, guys. Things are running really kind of where we expect right now as far as revenues go. Sales tax looks like we've kind of found our rebound mark. That we were going to. We talked about a year ago whenever we were running through it. We'd come out of some of our lowest months. We'd been in the 120s for monthly collections on sales tax. Those numbers through the spring and kind of into the summer bounced back. We're right in those mid 130 numbers, 135 to 140 right now, and so it seems like we've kind of bounced back to that. We're about overall this year we're about 2% up over where we were last year, which we budgeted more conservative. If you'll remember last year, I told you we're going to cut this number back, 15%, almost 10. So we did some things, but we are up over last year, which is good because if we go back and we look at that, we actually had 2 months of still Walmart collections whenever we started last fiscal year. And so in the first 6 months of last year, we had 2 months of Walmart. And then we took the major dip, and then as it's come back right now, we can say that we're about 2% over last year's total collections. So it's not the level that we were at. We're not in the 160s, 170s like we've been in the past, but we're not in the 120s either. So that's a good spot for us. If we find that as kind of our middle ground and that is our level point on sales tax, we know at least what we have to work with and how now we're going to move forward with those numbers. As far as the other revenue, hotel motel tax took a fall last month, which was kind of weird. For November, usually we have better November collections. It was down to about 15,000. So we're continuing just this up and down spike, and it's not just one. It seems like it's hitting all of them. So it's not like I think we need to go really look in depth at one institution that's not reporting to us. It seems like together they're kind of rising and falling together, across the board. So nothing that I think we necessarily have to look at on that, other than we just need to get more people off the interstate and have them staying here in town, where that can come about. As far as expenses go, expenses across all departments are running pretty much where we expect. You can kind of run down through there and see the various numbers and the various percentages. Brian did bring in, I've got a comment on the police since I bagged on him last month. I'm going to at least bring it back this month. He brought his department back in line this month. He didn't have the big capital expenditures. He didn't have the big things that came through. Now, he is going to have it next month. Hopefully they deliver his console and we get that put in. So I said that only so I can bag on him next month. If I say something nice about you one month, that gives me the right to say something bad about you the next month, right? You notice I'm not going to talk about the fire department at all, because that one's...
Well, they're here.
They're here. Can't talk about it when I already said it in the room, so, no. Expenses, as far as general fund goes, guys, really in line with what we expect. We've got a handful of expenses that we're not incurring expenses right now because of positions being down, some of that stuff. But overall, I really couldn't be happier with where the general fund setting. On the utility side, we're continuing on budget with what we have. We've got some big sewer projects. We've got some big pieces that, whenever you look at that sewer, it's over budget a little bit. But you've got to remember that we've got some sewer project capital outlay that's coming in there, and those are not operational. And so those could skew that 58% up a little bit during the month. But overall, we're continuing to truck along. I don't see any big changes that I'd want to make for next year. We're going to hold our breath on health insurance like we always do, and hope that that's not another $150,000 increase next year. It has been working out, as far as right now, as far as the claim runs and those kind of things, we're not seeing a significant health insurance piece, so that's good news for us. But we'll see how the collaborative piece works, going forward, and we'll have more to report on it, not necessarily even at the end of this year, but even as we get into next year, and we get a couple of years under our belts with this, we'll have a whole lot more volume and exposure to what we really need to worry about. So overall, December's down. We're 6 months home, and we're on the downhill slide now. So you'll start hearing talks. Next month we will have some budget amendments. There's not that many. Most all of them are items that you guys have actually done council actions on that we just want to get reflected in the budget. We haven't had to do them just yet because we had plenty of room in the budget expenses where they were setting, but we do have some formalities that we need to get run through, and those will be on next month's agenda. So whenever I talk next month, I'll probably talk more about that than I will even the financial stuff. So if you have any questions, as always, holler at me.
Thank you. Let's look at our item 8. Consider approval of second amendment dated March 20, 2018, which amends the first amended date dated April 1, 2013, which amends the ambulance services agreement with Noble County Ambulance District and Noble County, Oklahoma. What this is doing is telling us what our share of that tax is gonna be. And we're getting 67.84% of 90%, which means if it's out of 100, it'd be about 61%.
Russell, do you have anything further to say about this?
Yeah, the reason that was, that had changed was because of last year when Garber Ambulance went out of service. There was a portion of their ambulance service district that Tonkawa absorbed, and then we absorbed a portion of it. So those distributions changed slightly. They kind of split that portion of Noble County up to Tonkawa and to Perry. So Tonkawa's was a little bit greater percentage than ours because they took the Billings community in that surrounding area as well. So.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Mr.
Any further discussion? Roll call, Dixie.
Kolar.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Iker.
Yes.
Seabolt.
Yes.
Morrow.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Item 9, consider approval of moving cemetery data to the SIMS desktop and SIMS cloud, which is, I should say CIMS, and the provision of eCMIS services from Romica Associates and payment of appropriate charges. The more I read this, the more it confused me, so you guys are gonna have to help me out on this one.
Bryce?
Well, in the early 2000s, we spent a lot of money to digitize our records and our maps out at the cemetery. And so we got a digital map from Rainmaker, and then we loaded in all the names, because all the names were in books that were crumbling, all the people that have been buried out there. And so we digitized it, and during Etzel's time, we hired John Niles, and then later Vicky Hagerman, her daughter, to plug in all that, and we did it right up until 2012, and stopped.
I think that it was done in 2012, the last data entered was 2012.
Yeah, the last data was entered in 2012, but pretty much then everything just stopped. And when I talked to the new sexton, she said, "Well, we use a paper map." And I said, "Well, what happened to?" Well, we did, and so I made some calls, and I went down and I talked to Tyson, and he showed me the computer that all the data in to 2012. So I called Rainmaker, who had originally done it. Now they have a new platform, and this is what we were hoping for from the beginning, and that was you could take your smartphone out there, and you could hit a site, and you can pull up the cemetery, and you can go into a search bar and put in a name, and you can on your own phone find out exactly where anybody is out there at the cemetery. That's what the dream was when we started doing this. and now it's capable of being realized. We do need to plug in the rest of the funerals that have occurred since 2012, and I believe somebody's working on that.
Well, yeah, they will be.
They will be.
just did the training last week on it.
Okay, they did training. So it's a small cost, and this is the kind of thing that is going to be up and running. We're going to all look brilliant, but we're late. Okay, but a lot of this is going to be exactly what we wanted, and we're late, but it's going to happen. And so we're going to move to the cloud, and so it will be out there. You'll be able to pull it up on your phone, and it'll be exactly what the city wanted to do back in the day. I don't have an answer of why, it didn't really continue to get done. It just didn't. The concept got dropped. I know that Vicky left at some point. I think that's when it stopped getting updated, and Niles wasn't on anymore,
Right.
and Randy left, and it just didn't go through. Okay, but it can now. So they can use something other than a paper map out at the cemetery to find where the folks are. I think it's going to be a real improvement. And this is in comparison to what we were going to do, and that was have a kiosk. That was the idea, to have a kiosk out there that you could go, and then we thought about who would break it or whatever, but now the technology's there to put it right on your phone.
No, it's not a huge expenditure, but this wasn't budgeted for, right?
No, it was not. It was not.
So will there be information out there posted so people can find out how to get on and figure it out?
Yes, and the other thing about this program is, and this is what, they have in California, the fancy cemeteries. I mean, if we want to do it, let's say that you want to put a picture of your loved one there, who is there, I mean, it can even go to video. There's going to be an administrator. You're not going to just be able to do it, yourself, because we're not going to allow that. It's all going to be. It's not going to be a public forum. Well, that guy was a real jerk, I mean, on that thing. But if you want to put a picture of your father, your mother, that kind of stuff, that's going to all be available, so that it can actually be something more than just take you to the spot, and that will be available. I don't know that is going to any more cost. I think that's all part of this eSIMS program. It's just going to take some time. We're going to have to designate an administrator if we want to go in that direction. But this platform has the ability to take you there.
So, if we approve this, our first outlay will be $4,000 and recurring charges of $1,450. Is that what?
Right.
Do I understand that correctly?
Yes. And unless we do this, I don't know what else we could have. I guess we could, this is what we need to do.
I think that if I remember back, we've paid a lot more than that money just getting to this.
Oh,
process.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
A lot more.
We was paying somebody about $1,000 a month just to play with it.
Yeah, for years, and then we paid a lot to Rainmaker originally to get that digital map created. So
this will break out as so much of it's from the capital outlay fund and so much of it from
Yes.
the budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one time we could bring out a capital within the annual recurring of the cemetery operations. So.
I would move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further comments or questions concerning this item? Roll call, Lisa.
Goldar.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Ahern.
yes,
Seabell.
Yes.
Morrell.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, council. Thank you, Bryce. Item 10, consider approval of consulting services agreement with WL Sheets for independent inspection services for the citywide sanitary sewer wastewater treatment plant influent lift station headworks in Phase 4 project. It's not to exceed $2,500. Have any discussion? Have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Comments? Questions? Roll call, please.
Colern.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
Seabolt.
Yes.
Morrell.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Item 11, consider approval of consulting services agreement with Will L. Sheets for independent inspection services for the citywide automated meter reading infrastructure project. This is for the water and electric, just water?
Both.
Both, okay. It's not to exceed $5,000.
Really felt this would be another set of eyes for this project. Then we don't have to take the water guys and their limited staff to deal with this, or electric and their limited staff to deal with this. Let them do their job. So that's the reason we were asking for this.
Cheap prices.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Comment? Roll call, Dixie.
Colern.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
Seabolt.
Yes.
Morrell.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Item 12, consider approval of pay application number 6 to Evans and Associates Construction Company Incorporated in the amount of $19,909.57. This is for the pavement along and near the alley for, next to the city's leadership building that we lease to Seth. You see pay item number 6 in the back of the documents.
Motion approved.
Thank you, Dick.
Second.
Any questions? Thank you. Dixie?
Colern.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
Seabolt.
Yes.
Morrell.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Any new business need to be brought up this evening? I think I forgot to ask that earlier, but we'll do it this time. Any new business? Seeing none?
Motion adjourned.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, Dixie.
Colern.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
Seabolt.
Yes.
Morrell.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.